Welcome to Draw With Me Kids, episode 27, and you guys wanted, I was suggesting Nintendo today, but you guys wanted Splatoon, which is still Nintendo.
Play!
We're going to draw Octolings, we're going to draw Inklings, but to begin things off, we're going to show you what all of our wonderful artists did last week. So here we go. Get your pencils, your papers, and your erasers. Let's go. We did teddy bears last week in honor of National Teddy Bear Day. And we have this awesome art warrior bear and a couple of cool characters that are from some of the shows and games and stuff that she likes too. I like that this one seems to cut the strings. I think it's cool. We have Johnny Bear. I'm assuming JB is also Johnny Bear too. Mom and son working together on these ones. We have Bamboo Leaf in there and our little stuffed animal creeper. I love it. And I love how cuddly Johnny Bear looks. This is Miss Rainbow's very own Bamboo Leaf, and we met Bamboo Leaf many times if you joined us before. Bamboo Leaf always has a snowball, so I love that in this picture, Miss Rainbow's put all of her most scary things together into this nightmare creature in the corner here. And Bamboo Leaf is throwing her magic snowballs to protect her. I think that's really cool. And this is Susumi
Suzume
and
Toya.
And Sophia's got a really cool story behind them. And this is their character sheet together. These are all the ones that I drew for you, which is the Gunned Bear, which is what Sophia told me at the end of the thing instead of Gum Bear. I don't know why I thought she said gum. Because I was
when it came out of my mouth, I said gum, except I actually said gun.
This is Hershey Bear, my bear, and Bamboo Leaf up here with her snowball, and then our creeper. And then I went off and did my own teddy bear school version. So we're going to create these characters. You can do any hairstyle you want for your Splatoon character. You can pick an Octoling, which is the one that looks like it's got an octopus tentacle on their head, or an Inkling, which is more based off of a squid. Whichever you want, and it can be a boy or a girl. I'm just going to take you through the steps of how we're going to create these particular characters. So if you're joining us for the first time and you want to learn how to draw the bodies, we did that back on episode 9 in Figures and Hands. So I'm going to do a quick review on how to do it for the Splatoon characters and what we're going to change. But if you want to get really good at that, you can watch that particular video later. Start with an oval shape for the head. Oh, that was a really weird oval shape. It's okay. As I said at the beginning, for anybody who's brand new to us, we don't worry so much about being mean. That's right, 6 hair tentacle things, yeah. See, here this is why you guys wanted to do this, because you guys are all experts. I'm so glad to see you on, Em. Because I know this is one of the topics you wanted to do. Because you have probably 1,000 characters already picked out in your mind for this, right? I love that we get some pretty cool original characters. So you start off with a head. You can be really rough with the head. That's okay. Clean it up as we go on later. And you can do, if you want to do a body for your character or just the head, whatever you want to do. We do kidney bean shape again. You're going to do it from the side. And then whatever you want your characters to be posed as, if you just want to be standing there or you want to be holding one of the big brushes. I loved looking at the Octolings had from Splatoon 2. I love researching this. These characters are so cool. Has this giant paintbrush as a weapon. I thought it was awesome. Sometimes they have squirt guns and whatnot. It's all to squirt out ink or paint to take over. In case you don't know Splatoon, I just draw a line to sort of say, well, I want her to have her hand on her hip, so I just draw a line to remind me that's where I want her hand, or his hand. And I think we're just going to have a hand that goes down there. So I'll just draw the line to make me think about where those are going to go. Mini bathtubs. I didn't actually come across the mini bathtubs. Now I'm going to have to look. We haven't actually played Splatoon in our house. Not because of lack of want. In fact, we really kind of want to, especially after looking it up.
Kinda.
I'm going to have, I think I'm going to do something like that for the legs. Okay. And since I am terrible and started too low on the page, I'm not terrible. I'm not being very kind, am I? I broke my first rule. Be kind to myself. There we go. So this is kind of what my rough is going to be for my character, because I want them to sort of stand here. And that's what we learned in figure class, in the figure and hands and stuff. We talked about portioning things. So in order to make this an octoling or an inkling, let's begin. If you're doing an inkling, you'll notice that their ears are sort of more sharper triangle points. Whereas an octoling, which I'm going to do on the other side, just so you can see the difference, is a little bit more rounded. You can imagine a cat ear, how sometimes you might do a cat ear is a little bit rounded on the edge. Now, you know, if you have a character that's got a style where they're like really rough and tumble, they might have some different parts of their ear that are a little dented or scarred, or maybe they're fashionable and they have little earrings or things like that. You could add that as well later. So you decide which kind of ear you want. Whether you want to do an octoling or an inkling. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I'll start with triangle, and when I put the character together, I'm going to change that. Then you decide what kind of hairstyle you want your character to have. Wow, she's running with it. Miss Rainbows is just running with it. So when you think about hairstyles for Splatoon, think about actual normal hairstyles, but then you've got to translate them into what would it be like if they were made from tentacles in the hair. So like if I wanted to have a ponytail, because maybe I'm going to make my own self as one of those characters. And this is the great part about Draw With Me Kids, guys. When you're drawing with us in this art jam, you're not going to be restricted by sticking to the rules or canon, if you will, of the game. If you don't want to, that's totally up to you. Make these characters your characters. Use as many of the rules as possible if you want that sort of look to them, but don't feel like you have to stick to it. Because they're your Splatoon characters. This is how you would perceive yourself as a Splatoon character. So if I'm doing a ponytail, I would consider, maybe you'd see like this, where an inkling, you may see some of the squid shape of the tentacles at the top, and when you're doing the inklings, they sort of have this sort of leaf or triangle-like tip to the tentacle, and then kind of going thicker. If you imagine a squid, because they're based off of squids. So I would have maybe have that sticking out. The boys often have that in the original Splatoon anyway, is have 3 showing like that. If I was to do this character instead, don't be fooled by my ears, with a ponytail as Octoling, I might consider having the tentacles sort of appear like a curved S, like that, and then follow it and get thicker as you get closer to the ponytail. And then you can have however many of those, like we drew the octopus in
Under the Sea.
that's right, Under the Sea. I don't remember what episode that was.
No, it was so long ago.
Yeah. And no matter what one you pick, they each have just a tiny shadow of the underside of that tentacle showing. This is going to be my saucy octo thing. With Octolings, one of the key features you're going to see on their tentacle hair is, which always kind of struck me as weird when I was looking them up, but you'll see the suckers on them. So they're just circles if you're doing an Octoling, and they kind of go on the edge. And I think most of them have 2 that show, depending on how long your hair is. If you want a longer haired Octoling.
My Octoling is really, really long hair, which kind of curls up at the end.
So they're just circles or ovals that you add to that, just like that. In this case, I don't think you're going to see that side, and the 4th one might just be hidden. So as Em mentioned, because I know how much of a mega fan she is of Splatoon, and I think Michael's a pretty big fan too. 6 tentacle thingies in different. So when you're thinking of your hair shape, you probably will only see the front 2 and maybe a hint of the back 2 if you're doing this kind of thing. You'd probably just see that. And there's the sort of long hair. You might just see a hint of it on the other side from the back ones. But you try to think of 6. You might not see all 6. And 4 for the Octolings. So, cool thing about the eyes that I love for these characters is for an Inkling, the eyes and for an Inkling and an Octoling, they're very similar eyes. We start with I sort of start with an oval shape, very light. The top part is a flat line or flatter line, especially if you're giving them that look of, they're competing. Then I take straight line down to give that sort of cool edge. Well, you'll see what I mean in a second. And then keep the point of the eyes, make a circle, or not a circle, but a curved line at an angle. Here, let me get close up for you guys. It's a little too close, but that's fine. So take from this part here, just take a curved line, circle it down. And if you're using a thicker pen or pencil, that's okay. So this, and then curve it down. And you can sort of clean up your lines a little bit. And that's the basis of both of their eyes. If you're doing a girl, I've noticed that you can add, actually for girl or boy, you can make a thicker line here to give that sort of, it looks a bit like they're wearing thick eyeliner. I love it though. Picking up the bottom line. Now here's where the differences start to happen. If you're a girl character, you can add a little triangle right at the edge there to be the bottom lash, if you will. You don't have to add that if you don't want to. I'm going to do that. If you were a boy, you wouldn't have that. If you were a boy character, you just do that. You do, for an inkling, you would connect them like they're wearing goggles or glasses, and you can thicken up those lines just a little bit all the way around. Kind of like they're wearing superhero glasses, but it's actually the coloring on their face. So that would be sort of what an inkling looks, almost like glasses, but, and you want to make everything sort of appear like this appears a little curved because it's the bridge of the nose. So you could add that feature in if you're doing an inkling. The Octolings still have some dark aspects of their eyes, but they're only really the liner lower part. So here's my. You do half circles for the eyes, and then 2 more half circles, which I fill in and just leave a tiny little bit of white spot where I want my character to look. And I really made this character look a little bit super tough, so I'll soften it off there a little bit. If you want really, really tough, you straighten those lines even more, and it gives that sort of expression of your eyes are looking like that. And she kind of has this look of, no big deal. Okay, I'm super zoomed in here. So, now that you have your eyes done, we'll work on the eyebrows. For the female or girl character, whether it's Inkling or an Octoling, their eyebrows are like little teardrops or little raindrops, and the point goes into the center where the nose would be. So the point doesn't go in towards the center. If you're doing a male character, and pardon the eyelashes, you could still have eyelashes. They're a little thicker and longer, and you start with a curve that follows almost the length of the eye, and then a curve on top, like that. So that would be sort of the guy. So I'm gonna flip back. This is gonna be a me Splatoon character. Now you can draw the nose a couple of ways. Really simple to draw a little curve just like that, and that's good enough for the nose. You could add a little tiny.
To me, that kind of looks like a little mouth.
You could add another tiny curve on the side for the nostrils on either side if you want.
Cute, because it looks like a tiny mouth.
It does look like a tiny mouth. It looks kind of like she's super smiling. Kind of more bubble to try. I love it. Well, they are super tiny and very mouth-like, these noses. But here's the nose. And most of the characters, Octolings or Inklings, have tiny little fangs in their mouth when they smile. So you can either have the mouth closed, and I would put a little tiny snaggletooth out because I think that's adorable. And you can add a little bottom lip if you want. Or if you want to open up that mouth, I'd sort of shorten up that and do my curve, and then connect it together like a very weird shaped triangle. And I would do, which I can't with this big thick marker, just tone it down a bit. So you can see this little pointy tooth, instead of having the line of the teeth all the way across like I normally do, just sort of like this. You could do it like that, but for these characters to sort of show that little fang, you can sort of add it as big or as little as you want. So we're going to leave her mouth open like that. And I'm going to change the ears up a little bit more. Look at the ears now and add a little curved line on the inside of those ears. Whether it's an inkling or an octoling, you just sort of add that little nice detail to show the inner fold. And you should probably already start looking like your character, with just the face, your character looks a bit like they belong in that fantasy universe. You can add a little bit of lip if you want to. Fancy lip, depending on your character. Maybe your character has, you know, lipstick on, or maybe it doesn't.
Mommy, it's they there. Maybe they
You're doing both. You're doing an octoling and octoy and
Inkundra.
Inkundra. My gosh, she's doing two in the time that it's taken me to show you one. One of the cool things I like about these characters is that they often have patterns. Like I've shown in this one, they often have patterns on their tentacles, their hair, and it can sort of vary. I think a lot of them are dots and a sort of splash look on the edge of the inklings, and multiple circular patterns. So if you think of octopuses or squid and some of the cool camouflage colors they might have, the cool thing about them is they, even when they're not trying to disguise themselves, they have some cool texture patterns on them that help them blend in. So I just sort of made a whole bunch of little bullseye, like almost like a Zen doodle on the edge of my tentacles. You have an octoling, a really nice touch to sort of give that impression that they're octopus suckers. You don't have to do it, but if you want to, is to give it a little edge, make it look three-dimensional, and then a little tiny half sort of smile inside of it to give that impression that it's like a cup. And it's like a suction cup. So the next part, it's sort of a repeat of what we did back in episode 9 for bodies. And that's to connect the lines on a few of these. I'm going to do neck. Actually, may have done that neck a little thick, because really it's the head is bigger than the body almost. And my skeleton's a little off here position, so I'm going to use my skeleton that I've created to build out clothes on this character by making the round tubes for the arms. And these characters are very skinny arm bases with really, so I found skinnier arms, but their hands are huge, which is kind of cool. And you can, I'm not putting any of the weaponry in their hands in this one. I'm just doing a pose. But Miss Rainbows, if you take a look at her working in the sunshine over there, which is going to be something we're going to have to get used to on 4 o'clock, sunshine coming in the window. She's got all kinds of craziness happening in her pictures. I love it.
This is the one that I'm done. This is Octoy. So an octoling, and her cat is Azzy.
An octoling and Azzy. Cat.
Octoy and Azzy.
Octoy and Azzy. So again, hands are more, if you want to sort of shape them out a bit, I start with, I didn't really because I was folding it onto the hip there, I'd start with a thin oval to give you an idea of where you want, and then I just sort of add a curved triangle on the end of it for the fingers. And I'll give you the length of these particularly large hands.
This one is perfect. We have like 2 minutes left.
I know, pretty good.
I'm actually done mine.
Awesome, you're done yours. You can add some color if you want to. I know you're not going to finish the color, but if you want to add color.
Oh, I know what I want to. I know what
Add
I
some
do.
splashes of color. Splat them on there. This is Splatoon after all. I mean, it would be weird if we didn't do that. I might have to work a little bit more on getting her body just so. But the cool thing about these characters is the clothes are pretty much, well, I mean, because you're doing it in game, you collect items and you can get, I believe you buy clothes and bling to bling up the character. So you can have whatever your imagination can come up with for clothes and accessories. Like maybe, although it's not very practical, more often than not you'll see them wearing, right at the beginning when you select the character, a t-shirt and shorts. But whatever you want to tell the story with your character. Maybe mine's just hanging out after a fun day in the arena. I don't know.
I feel like Ink Under has a really weird position fang, but I really think that fits your personality.
A little bit of a crooked fang. It's kind of cool.
It's kind of like in front of her, the teeth. You know what I do with my clothing or my dresses?
What did you do with your dresses?
For Octoy, I made octopus tentacles stretching out at the bottom of the dress.
Oh, cool.
And for Inkundra, I did like this squid things from her hair, except they're the frills on the dress.
The other thing I'll throw in here right at the end of our thing is if you want to do the little cartoony version logos of squid for the inkling and the octopus, they're pretty easy. For the squid, you draw sort of a part of a heart almost with a round tip. You draw 2 circles, and that's your eyeballs, and then you do 1, 2, 3, 4. I should have 6, but I didn't turn for 6. So it looks like a little tiny squid with big eyes. For the octolings, it's very similar, and you just draw a round circle and the eyeballs and 1, 2, and then the little squiggly legs. And so that's how you can do if you want to give them a logo on their t-shirt, or if you want to give them, a little buddy, which is sort of what they transform into when they're getting
My
right?
buddies are cat and dog.
Well, cat and dog is just fine.
Osmar and Azzy.
Osmar and Azzy?
Yeah.
Cool. So, since we're cutting this a little bit short, just because we don't want to give Miss Rainbows a super extra long day after school. I'm sure she's pretty tired after her first day. This was her first day back. And I think it went pretty smashing if her first accounts are to be believed. Which they are. Oh my gosh, why wouldn't they be? And I know that I used to be very tired after my first day back at school, so I want to give her a little bit of a break. Which means I'll probably end up coloring this on my own, as I hope that you guys will do too, taking it from there. And I can't wait to see all of.
Do you want them to color alone?
You want them to color alone?
That's what I thought you just said.
Oh no, color them on your own. Sorry. Color them on your own. See, maybe even I'm tired. Oh. So. This is mine from today, and I'll have to work on her a little bit more. Maybe even get something more, like get that paintbrush in there, because I think that'd be so cool. So I thought that was really cool. And I'll have some color for it later. So next week we'll be back at this time, 4 o'clock, and we'll probably do a short version. And maybe we'll have time to do a little bit of trivia. We actually got quite a bit of trivia. Thank you for contributing in the comments. There's some stuff that is important on how to draw some of these too. So I can't wait to see what your very own Splatoon characters look like.
Guys, I have them to show you.
What are you showing here? Are you going to show them off? Okay.
Yeah. This is a
the
toy.
Billy Splattershot Pro.
This is a toy.
Oh, there's a toy. Oh, I love your favorite color being used in that.
And this at the bottom is Azzy.
Azzy, the cat.
She's my octoling. And if you see her on a dress, I made the octopus tentacles.
Cool.
And this is Inkundra.
That's a very crazy gun.
This is Osmar.
Yep.
It's the paintbrush.
Oh, it's a puppy.
It's the paintbrush.
It's paintbrush. Cool. Oh yeah, I see. It's the paintbrush.
And then I did the squid hair. Not the squid hair here.
Yep.
I did the squid hair.
Squid hair for the dress too.
The mask pattern.
Cool. Alrighty, well, let me sneak over into your camera. So, guys, thanks so much for joining our shortened version and at a new time. And we're going to keep doing this every Wednesday at 4 now. And next week, I think we're going to celebrate Elephant Appreciation Week.
Yay!
We're drawing some elephants.
I dabbed for the elephants.
You dabbed for the elephants.
Yay!
See you next time.
Paint!